All right, what's up, Dunwoody? Welcome back to the show again. Matt Weber, real estate agent, eXp Realty. Our sponsor of the show is Village Orthodontics. So if you need of orthodontic work, hit them up in the Village. Dr. Brett is the best. And today we're here with Francis Horton, the CEO of Community Assistance Center, which I see CAC all over the place. And I thought it was much larger than just this area. So yeah, let's get right into it. How you doing today, Francis?
I'm doing pretty good, Matthew. Thanks for having me this morning. We appreciate it very much.
No problem. So, so what do you do with CAC?
Matt, I'm the CEO of the organization. Been here almost 2 years now. The organization's been around about 35 years, but
Yeah.
I'm a relative newcomer.
Is it a nationwide thing?
We only serve Sandy Springs and Dunwoody cities.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that's
so
it.
you've got
So it's very
some good
localized.
branding down.
Yeah,
I feel like I
It's
see it
very local.
everywhere.
Yeah, well, one of the benefits of that, Matthew, is we're a very local operation dealing with local needs with local people,
Okay.
and so addressing those needs right here in our back door.
Yeah, and I saw some crazy statistic that 1 in 12 residents of Dunwoody are actually living below the poverty line. Is that right?
That sounds about right. That's based on the 2020 census that was done. It's amazing, actually, the number of folks living in poverty in this area that you don't see when you drive down the street.
Right. I would have never thought.
Yeah, we call them our hidden neighbors.
Yeah.
They're there, the needs are there, but you have to search them out in order to see those needs. So,
Yeah. Well, how did you get started with CAC?
wow. We have lived about 20 years overseas doing similar work, disaster response, community development projects in Central and South Asia in about 16 countries. And then finally retired early from that organization, came back to the U.S. in 2015 and went to work for another similar organization, International Relief, up in Boone, North Carolina, Samaritan's Purse, and worked up there for a few years, came down to Alpharetta to help an organization there set up an international arm of relief operations. That contract was coming to an end, started looking around the Atlanta metro area. And you know what? I looked at CAC's website, what CAC was doing, how they were doing it. And honestly, I told my wife at the time, these guys look like they're giving appropriate help in appropriate ways, and
Yeah.
they wouldn't be a bad outfit to work for. And then
Well, that's cool.
wasn't too long, maybe about 3 weeks after that I saw the announcement for the job. And so then there was one line at the bottom that said, if you want to submit a resume, click here. So I clicked, and I'm here.
And boom, you're out of retirement.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Well,
So
that's cool.
how I
So
got
what?
to this place.
Okay. And you've got, so your main office is in Sandy Springs, but you do have an office in Dunwoody, right? Over by the mall?
We do. We've got an office in Dunwoody Park, which is we operate a food pantry there, and we do client interviews there for financial assistance and other assistance that they might need as well. So, but our main operation is in Sandy Springs, always has been, really. We've got an administrative building at 1130 Hightower Trail in Sandy Springs. We also actually have two other food pantries. We have two in Sandy Springs, one north, one south, and then the one in Dunwoody. So,
Okay. Well, how can the people of Dunwoody help out with this? Is it drop off goods and food, or
well,
mostly
Matthew,
financial?
yes, and yes. The all of our pantries accept food donations. We get a lot of donations from the Atlanta Community Food Bank, huge partner for us, as it is for many pantries around the metro area and across Georgia. Second Helpings is another huge partner for us as far as donations go. We get donations from area grocery stores as well. But we got a number of people that show up at the back door with a carload of some type of food item and donate it just by their family or themselves or their class or whatever. So one of the ways to do that is to conduct a food drive for like your organization or class in school, or set aside 2 weeks and everybody brings food for CAC, and we'll provide bins for collection for that. and
Yeah.
then can then deliver them to our pantry. But also, there's opportunities to volunteer. We use about 250 volunteers a month, Matthew. And
Oh,
so
wow.
we use a lot of volunteer labor in our food pantries. We also have a thrift store that volunteers can work in as well. We've
Oh,
got
yeah.
uh, we've
Where's
got
that? Is that in Sandy
education.
Springs?
That's in Sandy Springs on Roswell Road, right across the
Okay.
street from Sandy Springs Diner. And we've got an adult education program. We use volunteers as teachers to teach English and computer courses, and we also use volunteers in our financial assistance, which is primarily interviewing clients and potential clients for that.
Hmm.
So we use a lot of volunteers. There's a lot of slots open. Especially, we have a need right now for volunteers in our food pantry in South Sandy Springs. But uh, we got opportunities for people to serve, opportunities for people to help
That's what it
out.
sounds like. So what
And
is the
we
interview? Is
all,
that just to
I'm
go ahead?
sorry.
Sorry. What's the
I was just
interview?
going to
Is
say
that just to make
we
sure?
we always need money. So
Yeah.
we do, one of the things that we do is financial assistance, which means rent and utilities. And in order to do
Okay.
that, it takes cash. So
Yeah. Yeah. So you interview these families just to make sure they're legit and figure out exactly, what they need the most, huh?
yeah,
Kind of go from
Matthew, we
there.
serve Sandy Springs and Dunwoody cities, and so there's a residence requirement. We have to make sure that their clients live within those two residences,
Makes
those
sense.
two cities, a certain set of zip codes out there, and then we also look at need. What's the basis of the need, the level of need, to make sure that the clients that we're helping are sure enough in need, and so. It's
Right.
a pretty extensive interview process that people go through. Everybody that comes to get help from CAC gets interviewed. Uh, that, in fact, is one of the things I like about CAC is that we know our clients because somebody has sat and talked to them. Somebody on our team knows
Yeah.
about their family, knows about their children, knows about their work situation, their education, those kinds of things.
And that's a big part of it, just listening.
Absolutely. I'm convinced, Matthew, that especially coming out of the last 2 years, with a lot of isolation, that when people come to us and sit through that interview or interact with volunteers or whatever kind of interaction they get when they come onto our campus, is that interaction is as valuable as a lot of the physical help they get because it's been
Right.
such a minimum over the past couple of years, and so it's just that personal touch, that interaction with someone else.
Yeah. Have you seen a lot more need over the last 2 years? Is that, has that ramped up? I know you haven't been here too long, but I mean, is that something you've seen? Big difference?
No doubt. We kind of use financial assistance as a bit of a barometer of levels of need in our area.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2019, we did about $300,000 worth of financial assistance, helping people pay rent and paying back utilities. In 2020, that became 2.1 million. 2021, it was 1.1 million. This year so far, we're at about 600,000.
Okay.
And would be more than that if we had the resources to do it. But what we've seen, Matthew, is our clientele profile has changed this year, beginning really back in January. What used to be directly COVID-related crisis is now just a pure economy crisis.
Yeah.
With every price in life has gone up. Most of our clients don't have margin to absorb those raises.
Yeah.
And so we've got people coming to us now that have never sought help before.
I've never needed it. Yeah.
Perhaps they made it through COVID, maybe by the skin of their teeth, scrapping here and scrapping there, but made it through. And then all the prices that they have to pay to live have gone
Yeah.
up now. And so
I
that
think
margin
everybody's
is gone
seen
up.
that.
Absolutely. It affects us all, doesn't it?
Yep, it does. I'm not to the point yet of coming to CAC, but yeah, I think everybody's price of everything's gone up, and salaries haven't necessarily maintained that same level.
That's correct. Matthew, if you go outside the studio today and you go to get in your car and you've got a bad tire on your car, chances are you could get that tire replaced or taken care of by the end of the day, certainly by tomorrow. For a lot of our clients, that's a game stopper kind of
Yeah.
expense because the margin is just not there to absorb that. And so that
Right.
if your car is out of operation, that means you can't take the kids to school, you can't get to work, you can't do a lot of things.
Yep. You can't get to work, and things start to compile. I
That's right.
understand.
That's right. Yeah, for
Yep.
sure. So we've seen those needs continue to go up. They're not lessening at all. In fact, through the end of September, we had served more people in our food pantries than we did all of 2021. And so
Really?
the need is still there. Yeah, the need
Wow.
is still there. People are still coming.
That's crazy. Well, so what's the thrift store like? How do you guys set that up?
Well, the thrift store is pretty cool, Matthew. You need to come down.
Yeah, I do
Do
like
some
thrift
shopping.
stores. That's
We call it an upscale thrift store. It's a little bit different, we think, from some other thrift stores around. It's laid out like a shop, like a boutique shop. It's primarily clothing. We got a few small household items as well. Everything in there is donated. We go through and sort everything that gets donated to us, and only the best things go to the floor. Everything else gets used by one or two other nonprofits in the area, so nothing goes to waste. But every dollar that comes in through the thrift store goes into our programming, goes in to help provide food for somebody or shelter for someone or education. So everything
makes
gets
sense.
used, gets poured
Yeah.
back into what our operations are. But you should come down and see. We've got some really, we got some cool stuff in there. I don't know anything about handbags, Matthew. I quit carrying handbags a long time ago, but they tell me that there's some pretty expensive handbags that have been donated to us, and they're $30.
yeah.
You know,
A lot of us in Dunwoody, Sandy Springs don't know what things cost, and when they give them away, that's great. Glad it goes to somebody in need.
That's right.
So
That's right.
and then the food drives. So I think that's a good way of doing the clothes is taking them in and then selling them and using that money instead of just giving them to the people. Is the food drives? How does that work?
Let me just
Is it
add one more
lots of
thing about the
locations?
thrift store, Matthew. For our clients of CAC, those people that have gone through the process and are actually clients, we give them vouchers twice a year for them to use for their family. So it's a certain dollar amount per
Okay,
child
so they
per
can go
adult.
in and do their shopping too.
Yeah, and they can use those vouchers wherever they want. They can spend anything above those vouchers, that they want to as well. I mean, it's a cash business over there, so anybody can come in and shop. But we do provide that facility for our clients.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So they can get food, or can get clothing if they want. What's
Sure.
the how does the food work? Do you have lots of drives in different areas?
We have different organizations, employers, congregations, different school classes, those kinds of things that periodically during the year. This time of the year, obviously, is a big time for people thinking about giving and that sort of thing. So, for instance, your organization might decide to do a food drive and tell all of your staff, your employees, the people that you have in contact with, we're going to set aside these 10 days and bring canned goods, bring non-perishable items to this location. We'll collect those there, and we'll give you bins. Got CAC written on the bin itself. They're like big barrels to collect those things in. And then either you deliver or we'll come pick up those barrels at the end of that time, and you've made a donation. What we really like for you guys to do is to bring those to us, deliver those barrels to us, and then help us put that stuff on the shelf. That gives you a better idea of what our operation is, where your donation is going, how it's being used, how it gets processed through the food pantry.
Yeah, and so you've just got big warehouses there, or
Well, we don't have a
Storage
big
space.
warehouse anywhere, Matthew, but
you have storage space for some foods.
we have some storage space. We also have all of three of our pantries are set up in what's called a client choice mini market. And so what that means is that we've got it set up like a grocery store. Clients come in, we've got shopping carts, and it allows mom to come in and choose the things that she knows her family wants to eat, rather than me trying to decide, put it in a box, and handing her a box full of stuff.
Yeah, well, that's cool
that
because
kinda-
a lot of the food drives that I see, it's more you stay in your car and you kind of pull around and you're given whatever you're given. So that's neat that they can actually do the shopping themselves.
Absolutely, Matthew. That kind of helps. We think that helps to maintain client dignity, and
Right.
helping them to choose for themselves what they want. So pretty much everything we do at CAC, we try to keep in mind how this affects a client, how this affects them physically, yes, but how that it affects them emotionally and mentally. And just because you're going through a hard time doesn't mean you shouldn't be treated like a valuable person. So,
Right.
all three of our pantries are client choice, and so people can come in and shop.
That's cool. And so they get vouchers too. Is that like the thrift stores pretty much?
Well, we don't give out vouchers. We have we go on the pounds per family, depending upon family size.
Okay.
So many pounds of food a family of four can take out of the pantry, but they can come once a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So, and then the holiday adopt a family program. That was something I read about. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, yeah. That's incredible. Thank you for mentioning that, Matthew. That's it's going on right
now. It
now.
is the time of the year for that. Yep.
It is. It is. So far, as of this morning, we've got 1,593 children that have been registered
Whoa.
for our Adopt a Family program. The way that works is those families in need will register for the program. It all happens through our website. Then people like you can go in and click Adopt a Family. I want to adopt a family. And when you do that, you get information about whatever family you select, number of children, gender, and a bit of a wish list that the kids have given as well. So that gives you some direction on what kinds of things that would be helpful for these children.
And you get to know them a little bit. That's important for my kids, is to know like who they're helping, really,
Exactly. Gives you a little bit of information about those families so that you can make that connection, and then you get those gifts that off that list. And by the way, you can do that several ways. You can go shopping, take your kids out shopping, which is, we take our grandkids out shopping for families, or you can go on Amazon. We've got an Amazon wish list that you can go and select those things as well, or you can just donate funds to CAC and we'll go out and procure those toys. But then they all get delivered here to our Hightower location, and then all that happens hopefully by the 28th of the week of the 28th of November, and then the following week distribution will take place where all the families who have registered will come and pick those things up.
Okay. And they can find information on your website probably?
It sure can. There's on the home page you'll see information about Adopt a Family. You click that and then all this stuff opens up to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Anything else you want to add?
I think particularly this time of year, Matthew, we've got to be thinking about the folks around us and looking at how life impacts not only our own families, which is very important, but how it impacts families around us, and understanding that, quite honestly, not everybody lives like we do. No matter who we are, no matter how we live, there are people that live in different ways, and some people can change that tire and some people can't. And so just keeping in mind the things that we're thankful for and the things that we have that maybe sometimes we take for granted. And we know that there are people in Dunwoody that are making a decision of whether or not to pay rent or buy food. And that's a tough decision to make. And so keeping those folks in mind.
Yeah, I mean, as adults, we see everything, but as like my kids, I've got a 7 and an 11-year-old, and they go to school with other Dunwoody kids, and they don't see a lot of what else is happening in the world. And so, I mean, I think Christmas time is definitely the time that we make sure that our kids see, that there's other people out there that don't live like us. And so I'm glad that you guys are putting all that together.
Great. It's our pleasure. We got a lot of folks in need. We're just trying to meet as many as we can.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, Francis. And please reach out to me if you ever need anything. I can definitely post it on our website and stuff and Facebook pages. So thanks for making time for us.
We appreciate it.